In this presentation, we will take a look at how to find financial statement data online. In other words, if we would like to practice our ratio analysis, applying our ratio to actual data for actual companies, we can look up the company data typically online. There's a lot of data that can be found online for particular companies. If we're looking at publicly traded companies, then we'll typically be able to find that data fairly easily online by simply going to their website, looking up the financial information, and then we can use our analysis with regards to that data. For an example, we'll take a look at Coca-Cola. So if we pick Coca-Cola and we're going to say, okay, we want to apply our ratio analysis tools to Coca-Cola, then we can look up their information. Now, obviously, this is going to be a large company, and therefore the financial statements, we want to keep that in consideration. But if we pick a company that's going to be publicly traded, then typically we'll be able to find their financial information. So I'm just going to look up here the Coca-Cola. I'm looking up the official site, and we're just going to basically go from there and see what we could find. So here's the Coca-Cola company. This is the home page. So we'll go to the Coca-Cola company homepage, and then we're looking for investor information somewhere. We're trying to look on this homepage and say, okay, where can I get the financial statements? Obviously, most websites will have a search field. We could search financial statements, but we may also have something pretty clear they can find it. On this case, we have the investors. That looks like what we're going to want. So we can go to the investors and say, what type of information do we have here related to the financial statements? And we could scroll down through here and say, all right, what kind of information do we have? I'm going to think about the annual report. So we've got the annual reports, we've got the quarterly reports, we got the earning releases. I'm going to look at the annual reports because we're looking for the financial statements in order to apply our ratio analysis in that format. As we go through the financial statement information, we've got the annual report for 2018 dated 2/21/2019. So if we select that item, here we have it, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. We have the Form 10-K. Let's just take a look at the table of contents to see what will be included in the report. Most of our analysis is obviously going to be on the financial statements, the income statement and the balance sheet primarily. Let's see what we have here. We've got in part one, the business. We have risk factors, unresolved staff comments, properties, legal proceedings, main safety disclosures, executive officers of the company. Then we have part two, market for registrants, common equity, related stockholder matters, and issuer purchases and equity securities, selected financial data. So we have some selected financial data here, not the financial statements particularly or per se. We have the management discussion and analysis of financial condition and results of operations. So obviously the management will give us the analysis. We would expect that to be a fairly good spin on the analysis. Of course, this is the internal management reporting on the analysis, but we can have some good insights with regards to the analysis, and we can try to compare that to the ratios that we come up with. We can say, hey, here's our ratios. Does the management's discussion and analysis kind of line up to what the ratio seems to be pointing at? Quantitative and qualitative disclosure about market risk, financial statement, and supplementary data. This item is, of course, where we want to spend most of our time because we actually have the financial statements and supplementary data. So we're going to be jumping to item 8 after we go through the table of contents here. Changes in the disagreements with the accountants and accounting and financial disclosures, controls and procedures, other information. We got part 3. Directors, executive officers, and corporate governance, executive compensation. So we actually have the compensations of the executives if that's something you want to take a look. Securities ownership of certain beneficial owners and management and related stockholder matters, certain relationships and related transactions and director independence, principal accountant's fees and services. So if you want to see the accountant fees and services for Coca-Cola, you can take a look at that. Might be interesting to some folks in the accounting field. Exhibits and financial statement schedules, Form 10-K. So here we are in the financial statement and supplemental data. We have the consolidated statement of income, the consolidated statement of comprehensive income, the consolidated balance sheet, and the statement of cash flows, the statement of shareholders' equity. So this is going to be, of course, our financial data. And so if we want to apply our ratios to some data, we can go to the financial statement data here. We've got 2018, 2017, 2016, this being the consolidated statement of income, in essence, the income statement here. So we got the net operating revenues, the cost of goods sold, the gross profit, so on and so forth. Next, we're going to have the consolidated statement of comprehensive income. Then we're going to have the consolidated balance sheet. So we've got the assets, liabilities, and equity on the balance sheet. And then we're going to have our consolidated statement of cash flows. So this information is available, and it's fairly easy to find on most company websites which are publicly traded. So if we're talking about a publicly traded company, you want to check out their financial statements, you could typically just simply go to their website, look at the investor information, look for that investor information, and typically be able to find their financial statements fairly easily and use that information for your ratio analysis.